Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and we will be having another joint Dragon Ball Z segment on why couldn't Vegeta turn Super Saiyan 3? And in today's video, I'm joined by one of my video partners,
Thundershot. What's going on, everybody?
Yes, and we'll be discussing why Vegeta cannot turn into a Super Saiyan 3, as this is probably one of the biggest questions we've ever had. So without wasting any more time, we are going to share our theories on why the Prince of Saiyans could not hit the very next level. But he can skip it in Dragon Ball GT. Alright, so Thundershot, what's your theory on why Vegeta couldn't turn Super Saiyan 3?
Okay, well, for the longest time, I didn't really know. I mean, obviously, at the end of Z, he just wasn't up to par. And then, of course, GT was Goku time, as we all know GT stands for. Not really. But Vegeta wasn't training, so he didn't turn Super Saiyan 3 then, because he hadn't been training, and then he got zapped with a machine that skipped him straight to Super Saiyan 4. But recently, a few months back, I did a video, and it was about an interview done with Akira Toriyama, where he was talking more so about Goku, but he stated that Goku wasn't going to focus on becoming a Super Saiyan 2 or 3 anymore, because he realized he would get better training by focusing mainly on his base form and his Super Saiyan 1 form. Now, a lot of people said, oh, that's just Goku, don't worry about it. But I believe that goes for almost every Saiyan left in the series. I think it's a new direction Akira Toriyama wants to take all of Dragon Ball Z. And my evidence for this is, in Battle of the Gods, when Beerus slaps Bulma, Vegeta freaks out, right? They point out, Master Roshi says specifically, he's gotten stronger than Goku, even though Vegeta wasn't a Super 3. To me, that was the ideal time, that was the perfect scenario for them to let Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3. And they didn't, because Akira Toriyama's taken Z in a new direction. Otherwise, why are they going to let him surpass Super Saiyan 3 without actually being one? That doesn't make any sense. So I think if they were going to make him Super Saiyan 3, that would have been it. And because they didn't, I don't think he'll ever actually go Super Saiyan 3. I think if he ever gets another power boost, it'll be going God form in a future movie.
Well, you've given me a lot of thoughts here by saying that, because the funny thing is that when I think about Vegeta turning Super Saiyan 3, that whole scene in Battle of Gods, I really just looked at it with a blind eye, because I basically looked, well, he was only stronger for a split second. I didn't really consider him stronger than Goku by that scene, but I can see how that can be connected to, future concepts in the Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan universe. Now, I think one thing I can add to what you said, Thundershot, is maybe the reason why Goku would focus more on his base form and his first Super Saiyan form is because of the amount of stress, because we've all learned that later on in Dragon Ball Z, that when you enter those higher levels of Super Saiyan power, it puts a ton of stress on your body. So even though it gives you a massive amount of power, how good can your power be if you can only be in that form for a short amount of time? But going strictly back to, talking about why Vegeta can't turn Super Saiyan 3, I think it's very simple. I think it's based on the fact that when we look at the Buu Saga, Vegeta was a Super Saiyan 2, regardless of if he gained it by Majin powers or not. That's a different argument, but he was a Super Saiyan 2 and Goku was a Super Saiyan 3, and Goku gained his Super Saiyan 3 powers by training in Otherworld, or I guess you could say Hell to some people, but he trained in Otherworld. And basically, of all the time that took place, Goku was able to maximize his Super Saiyan 3 abilities because he had a dead body, and his real life body couldn't handle the stress as much. So, if Vegeta's training on Earth, especially with a kid, I wouldn't think Vegeta would train as hard as if he would be if he wasn't a family man. So I think that also played into it, whereas Goku had no distractions. Goku can train purely by himself. Even though Vegeta still trained hard, he had a kid, he had a, whatever Bulma is, whether she's a wife or just somebody he had a fun time at night with. Vegeta had Super Saiyan. It would be harder for him to do it because he had a real life body. Now, I know many people are going to say, so you mean to tell me a 7 and an 8-year-old can do it then? Well, my theory on this that I remember answering on Thundershot's video when he interviewed me was, when you look at Goten and Trunks, both of them are basically kids, and they both went into the hyperbolic time chamber. Now, that would probably be the point where they learned it, so their body was in kind of like a different area of training where it would be more susceptible to gain a new level of power. Plus, what you said, Thundershot, you also said that fusing made their base form stronger, which would make them more adaptable to being able to turn into a Super Saiyan 3. Even though they're kids, they would have a lot more power than Vegeta did.
And I think that's almost a completely different video topic, just how strong exactly fusion is. But yes, I agree.
And that means that, wouldn't you say theoretically Gohan should be able to turn Super Saiyan 3 as well? Theoretically
what do you mean exactly?
Well, you know, some people are going to say half Saiyans can't turn Super Saiyan 3, but Gotenks is a half Saiyan. You can't say it because he gets half of what Goten is, and he gets half of what Trunks is, which means Gotenks is a perfect fusion of a half Saiyan. Which means that he's able to turn Super Saiyan 3 because he's a half, even if he's a half Saiyan, which disproves that theory. Which would mean that Gohan, if he trained in for 7 years in the other world, just like Goku did, then he should be able to turn Super Saiyan 3, and that's why I honestly think Vegeta wasn't able to do it. He wasn't as strong as Gotenks, and his other world body just couldn't take it. Now, here's the thing, Thundershot. Why do you think Vegeta couldn't do it over the next 20 years leading up to GT?
Leading up to GT, I simply think he really cut back on his training. As we can see from a lot of the clips in GT, he's focused way more on being a dad. I mean, you know, he's driving a car full around, taking her things like that. And he just doesn't train anymore. Plus, Goku was working with Oob and all that stuff, so I don't know. I think Vegeta just severely cut back on training for GT.
So you think it was a cutback on training? Personally, I just think it was writing. I don't think the writers really factored in Vegeta turning Super Saiyan 3. That's what I honestly think. I mean, because you realize all the facts that we get in Dragon Ball Z are based on writing, but in reality, I think he should have been able to turn after that much time if he trained as much. But I'll leave this video off by making this final point. I remember reading somewhere in an interview with Toriyama, and I'm not sure if you made a video about this, Thundershot, but he was saying that the reason he chose the time period before the World Martial Arts Tournament where Goku took Oob to train as, you know, the basis for Battle of Gods was because he felt that that was a time period where everybody was at the peak of their powers. Which means, does that mean Vegeta declined in Dragon Ball GT? Is that what you're saying? Because in that case, I would agree with you.
I do believe, if anything, Vegeta was actually not as strong in GT as he left off with Z. If he was strong, it was stronger. It was only slightly.
So it wouldn't have been enough to really close the gap. But yet, at the same time, he could turn Super Saiyan 4 with the use of a machine. But that means that we would both have to agree that if we accept GT as a legitimate continuation, that means
Which I do not, for the record. For the record, I do not look at GT as a continuation. I think they're going a new direction with Battle of the Gods and then this new movie.
Well then, let me ask you this final question, Thundershot. Would you admit that Super Saiyan 4 Goku has to be light years ahead of Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and he dropped his power to fuse with him?
Yeah. I mean, initially, it all depends. We really don't know how much stronger that machine made Vegeta. I would like to think that because Goku trained hard and got his tail pulled back out like he should have and all that stuff, that Goku was stronger, but we really don't know how much stronger that machine made Vegeta. I would also like to think Vegeta wasn't used to his new Super Saiyan 4 body yet, and that might have changed some things, but I really don't know, just given off of we don't know how much the machine actually helped.
Well, I mean, to just, you know, put my 2 cents out there, I would think Super Saiyan 4 Goku was much stronger, considering he's stronger in his base form, plus the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. I mean, considering Vegeta skipped Super Saiyan 3. I always found that
definitely.
Hilarious. It's hilarious. I just felt like they just needed to make a Super Saiyan 4 fusion form, like the Ultimate Saiyan. And I just thought, well, dang, we need a Super Saiyan 4. Let's just make Vegeta a Super Saiyan 4 by just Bulma's machine do it. I don't think it was well thought out.
GT is probably a different topic for another day.
Definitely, we'll do it. And I'm actually coming out with a GT review part 3, so stay tuned, my fellow subscribers. But, guys, that has been my video for today. Overall, we've pretty much shared our thoughts here, and we'd really like to hear what you have to say in the comment section below. But overall, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys. Thundershot?
We'll see you guys later.